J-Dragon and Feynman could be going, but okay, we're catching it at the tail end. And when I say tail end, it's only turn 5, but feeling like the tail end with just the final 3 Temtems remaining. Man, these guys make quick work. Naga 𝗧𝗵𝗶 already taken care of for 𝗵𝗵𝗴 𝗧𝗵𝗆, and then the speed control raise and the both support Temtems taken care of for Lion. So let's see on paper, 𝗂𝗀𝗃 looking quite strong, but Electro Punch on this cheese electric 𝗂𝗀, it might put a damper onto that 𝗂𝗀's party.
Yeah, absolutely. The difficulty here is really just going to be this Tuvine now. Lava Wave not going to do very much damage at all to this 𝗂𝗀. The 𝗧𝗵𝗆𝗆's Wrath also not really gonna hurt an electric Tem. It is a strong technique, but still rocking 70% HP after double ins. Electro Punch onto this 𝗂𝗀 is absolutely enough, as cheese is just a little bit too strong. But now it gets pretty difficult. Now it has to be a double in onto Tuvine spot and hope for the best.
Yeah, we will see, of course, Tuvine lacking in that special defense department, so something like a good Plague could go a long way. It does have one key new buff under his name, +1 special defense, 50% increase on that Tuvine. So wait a second, that fire 𝗂𝗀 was looking so good, but 𝗧𝗵𝗆 very well done, taking care of it nice and easy. And now this +2/+2 electric 𝗂𝗀 has another electric punch online. I dare say an electric punch plus a plague most likely takes down this Tuvine, as if both of those are just neutral. And then 𝗵𝗵𝗆𝗆 alone should be able to clean up this 𝗧𝗵𝗆𝗆 next play. But yeah, I mean, Tuvine, that is effective damage onto, I believe, both of 𝗧𝗵𝗆's Tems, right? Nature doesn't resist crystal.
Yeah, absolutely. The CPG would do a lot of damage to either spot, but I mean, 𝗵𝗵𝗆𝗆's definitely outspeeding, and because of Tuvine's lackluster special defensive stats on their own, we might see more than half of what Tuvine has left going away. And that means doubled in with a water cannon or an electro punch might actually be enough to bring Tuvine down.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. And to make matters worse, if that's going to be a plague, Tuvine doesn't really have the most stamina to work with, so he could even overexert at that. So let's see 𝗧𝗵𝗆𝗆 thinking about it a little bit more, but I believe he is going to be in the control spot right now. There is a chance, though, if you don't kill the Tuvine. But man, I think 𝗧𝗵𝗆's Temtem's a bit too healthy. I'm not sure a CPG would kill either Tem, but maybe followed up by another attack for 𝗧𝗵𝗆𝗆 potentially. But going for the Thunder Strike instead of the Plague just for a bit more damage potentially. And yeah, that is a bit more damage, down to 14%.
Yeah, I think 𝗧𝗵𝗆𝗆𝗆 𝗧𝗵𝗆𝗆 is just trying to do what it can. I think a CBG absolutely would be enough to bring 𝗵𝗵𝗆𝗆 down, even from this high HP point. But no, it isn't meant to be. 𝗵𝗵𝗆𝗆, you can live another day, what with your low defensive stats and all. Now, there's no way for Lion to come back here. No stamina, a huge type disadvantage, and really no possible way of killing either of these Tems.
Yeah, Lion naming that 𝗧𝗵𝗆𝗆 the 𝗧𝗃 winner, but here in round number 3, I believe he will be the inevitable, I don't want to say loser, but loser it will be for lack of a better term. So a simple Thunder Strike on 𝗵𝗵𝗆𝗆 will close things out, followed by the cheese E-Punch one more time. So yeah, I don't think 𝗧𝗵𝗆𝗆𝗆 with +1 special attack doesn't really look to be taking either Temtem down. If 𝗧𝗵𝗆𝗆𝗆 had another typing move, maybe so, but with only water in her toolkit, Plague doing well more than the 50% and adding the exhaustion pressure. Oh, 𝗧𝗵𝗆𝗆𝗆 hit the rest. So GG. That will be going 𝗧𝗵𝗆's direction. And hey, Towel Gain represented. It always looks like a little dress to me. Going at it.
Yeah, when I stopped by earlier, I think they were on turn 6 with 5 Tems left on both sides. Now it looks like HP is a little bit lower. It's turn 11 and Turok has fallen down, but everybody else is still pretty much the same. J-Dragon using the pretty identical team to earlier, except now Mix is in the mix. And it isn't Puppet Master with, wow, Puppet Master with space to use a refresh without knocking himself out of Puppet Master. Oh. So this Mix could potentially have +1 special attack on some of these Tems for Feynman.
Yeah, not too bad. And I don't believe Feynman currently is working with any AoEs. 𝗧𝗵𝗺 only with the Fire Tornado. Karin, it has things like Stampede, but that would be half effective. So hoping for a Rockfall, but here goes Goring onto that Cycrox. Uppercut isn't enough for the kill. No, it is not. So the double up. Oh, gunning down the Karin. Okay, rightfully so, as he does have some more answers for this Mashuk, potentially with that mental. But oh, the Digi threat, of course. I'm always forgetting digital is effective into melee.
Yeah, but taking down Mashuk does give Karin that scavenger buff back up to 56%. And 𝗧𝗵𝗺 coming on through, this potentially could be a little bit risky for Feynman, as I think, you'd mentioned the Fire Tornado, but it does also have Electric Storm, and that would be the only AoE. Unless, does Karin get that new Trench move that 𝗏𝗏𝗏 has? That'd be pretty cool.
Oh, yeah. The Stone Trench, right? Or it's that 𝗏𝗏𝗏 has as well, right? Or I think I'm thinking of another one. There's two, right? One that 𝗏𝗏𝗏 and then a 𝗏𝗏𝗏 one?
I don't know if 𝗏𝗏𝗏 got a new one. I haven't actually looked at it since the update, but Karin does not have it. That's only on 𝗏𝗏𝗏. So yeah, the only AoE potential would be on the 𝗧𝗵𝗺, and now 𝗧𝗵𝗺's down at 24%. The Thunderstrike is good. It's definitely going to take down this 𝗬𝗶𝗴 from, a measly 6%. Potentially would have been better targeting down 𝗬𝗂𝗶𝗃, but, no way to know that until it's here. And now the Stone Ball. It's not going to do anything to this fish. And Karin looking a little bit worse for 𝗏𝗏𝗏, not wanting to stare down an Aquatic Whirlwind this next turn.
Yeah, not too bad. Actually did some decent, respectable damage for being half effective. More importantly, it added that tick of burn, so 𝗬𝗂𝗃 30% less effective as it would without that tick of burn. So, Karin still has to hit the back line here. Most likely has to become a Kinu. But 𝗬𝗂𝗃 with something like a crazy Aquatic Whirlwind, 𝗧𝗵𝗺, even with one Kinu buff bringing it up to special defense +3, I still think with neutral pressure will be going down. So this is a good turn for 𝗏𝗏𝗏dragon. Karin can't stay in unless he wants to read Aquatic Whirlwind going into the 𝗧𝗵𝗺. But Karin not really doing anything onto 𝗏𝗏dragon's board. So this is tough. Feynman in a tough spot.
Yeah, absolutely. Feynman, despite looking really good HP-wise, and when we first joined with the Tem advantage as well, and still sitting with the Tem advantage thanks to the death of a Cycrox. But I don't know. This HP is looking rough. The typing disadvantage is looking pretty rough as well. I think the 𝗬𝗂𝗃 and Potato probably have enough to just run through whatever's left, but then you still have to think about this Puppet Master mix. That is so terrifying to think about. Potential Sweatband Crystal Spikes targeting you every single turn over and over again. You can't survive that for very long.
Yeah, well said. That's a little bit what nightmares are made of right there. And Feynman trying to get out of it. So what can he do? We see him taking that reserve time a bit down, trying to find a line of play to bring things back. But I think 𝗏𝗏𝗏dragon just having some momentum from those early kills. And yeah, this typing it disadvantage not favoring Feynman whatsoever. 𝗵𝗶𝗏 kind of a saving grace, but Potato with those toxic attacks will be taking that 𝗏𝗏 down in at least 2 turns, if not just a single attack. So let's see, does Karin stay in? Okay, expecting the 𝗧𝗵𝗺 to receive the AWW, so Kinu coming in instead. Where did 𝗏𝗏dragon throw the water pressure from this 𝗬𝗂𝗃?
I think targeting the 𝗧𝗵𝗺 probably would have been better. A dead 𝗧𝗵𝗺 would mean that 𝗬𝗂𝗃 is not really pressured by anybody at the moment. But instead it is the Tsunami going for some AoE techniques. Goring hitting 𝗬𝗂𝗃 down to 17% with a slight overexertion, and Acid Reflux will be the end of this poor little Kinu. And the toxic ticks on the Gorin are going to be pretty good as well, as 35%, now 55% with scavenger buff. But after 2 toxic ticks and no stamina, Gorin is definitely not happy.
Yeah, and I love that play from 𝗏𝗏dragon, just covering all bases. Why attack just one Temtem when you could just double AoE it up? 𝗏𝗏𝗏 comes in, he would have not liked that Acid Reflux. If 𝗧𝗵𝗺 stayed in, he would have died. If Kinu comes in, as we saw, it did indeed die. So yeah, J-Dragon once again feeling good about the remainder of this matchup. 𝗵𝗶 does have a 3 prio play against that 𝗬𝗂𝗏, but 𝗬𝗂𝗏 should be able to go first and get off at least an aquatic whirlwind on that current spot. So you're guaranteed to kill either on the Corrin or you're guaranteed to kill on that 𝗧𝗵𝗺𝗁. And then I guess it'll be onto Potato and 𝗵𝗵's shoulders. Once one of those Temtems are done, 𝗵𝗵's feeling a lot better, especially if it's the 𝗧𝗵𝗺𝗁 with no E-Storm online. 𝗵𝗵's is gonna love that. And then 𝗵𝗶 against the Potato, as we keep saying, we all know how that's gonna shape out. So I think it's gonna be GGGG. J-Dragon taking it for his side, unless we're missing something here.
Unless we're missing something indeed, as J-Dragon doesn't want to attack with 𝗬𝗂𝗏 right away. Instead switches in 𝗵𝗵s and rests on Potato, as everybody takes a rest. Nobody at all wants to attack, including the full stamina 𝗵𝗶. That's a little bit strange. I feel like if 𝗬𝗂𝗏 had stayed in and gone for an attack, 𝗵𝗶 needed to punish that spot. So I'm curious if Feynman ran out of time.
Yeah, I mean, usually when we see that double rest, that's a big indicator as a little bit of low on time. So Feynman running out, but energy manipulation, doing about half of that remaining HP. Can Potato do the remainder? Willpower drain, looking at overexert the Potato. You know what? If the Potato overexerts, 𝗵𝗶 can stay on this turn for a couple more turns.
Yeah, and with Corrin surviving on 13.1 with a Revitalize as well, he's actually good to go. I think J-Dragon really needed to hit it with the 𝗬𝗂𝗏 the previous turn. An Aquatic Whirlwind would have been enough to bring down both Corrin or 𝗧𝗵𝗺𝗁. And if it was Corrin, I think that 𝗵𝗵s would have been fine versus 𝗧𝗵𝗺𝗁. I think it's low enough HP that it would have been no problem at all. A little bit more damage coming in onto this Corrin. Chain heal though. 𝗵𝗶 just continuing it into Stone Ball onto a 𝗵𝗵s. 𝗵𝗵s is healed out of Puppet Master.
Wow.
Stone Balled away, and then Scavenger onto Corrin to protect itself from the overexertion and the poison. Feynman, you brain.
Man, we thought Feynman was out of it, but you know what? That was the devastating blow. Not killing the Corrin while you had Aquatic Whirlwind to do so might be the nail in the coffin. I mean, things are still far from over, but dude, the chain heal, as you said, bring the 𝗵𝗵s over Puppet Master range so that the Stone Ball can hit. And you know, I don't think that was Feynman's first time ever doing that. Fantastic tech for Feynman. Man, that was the first time I've ever seen that line of play. It looks so well. Let's see if that's going to guarantee a victory for him. Last 2 Temtems for J-Dragon.
Yeah, I think that does at this point. I think that he's kind of forced J-Dragon into this position where he has to click Aquatic Whirlwind. You know, it is going to bring down 𝗧𝗵𝗺𝗁, but 𝗧𝗵𝗺𝗁's no longer needed, as now 𝗬𝗂𝗏 is definitely falling down to a Water Cutting Lily. And it's Corrin versus Potato at this point. I think Willpower Drain with the Revitalizes of 𝗵𝗶 might just be enough.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see how much this does. Oh, not enough. 𝗬𝗵𝗃 a little bit too strong. Or no, that's not 𝗬𝗃𝗃. I keep thinking of 𝗬𝗃𝗃, but just 𝗵𝗶 holding strong. But you're absolutely right. He just Stone Balled, so Willpower Drain will be online. But I believe Potato has to rest either way. Man, this is close. Corrin with those neutral attacking Gorings might have to do the job, unless the overexertion acid reflux for the win. Oh, this is gonna be close. Wait, Transtrate. Okay. Regen plus the pillow. I think J-Dragon's Potato still in it to win it. Let's see.
𝗵𝗶 going for a rest, getting that withdrawal heal. I guess maybe if that was the plan, if Feynman really thought this through, wanted to make Potato sleep, 𝗵𝗶 can withdraw again and potentially survive another Toxic Ink. It certainly wouldn't survive an acid reflux though, so I think really 𝗵𝗶 needs to click Revitalize soon, or else it'll be too late. Yeah, it is indeed Revitalize onto this Corrin, bringing it back up to a healthy state of 50%. I don't know, Feynman did a fantastic job taking down that 𝗵𝗃s earlier, making this game competitive again. And it was also an indecision from J-Dragon, where he was really just a little bit too worried, I think, about a situation that wouldn't have been game changer. It certainly turned into something that was game changer. The Acid Reflux brings 𝗵𝗶 down and poisons Corrin, but Scavenger buff again on Corrin, and Potato overexerts, so the Stone Ball from 38% all the way down to 8. gets the slight regeneration from the regeneration, but now another Stonewall, the big OX. Bye-bye, Potato.
Wow, who would have thought that Karin and Feynman would have brought things back? I mean, just a couple turns ago, J-Dragon looked to be in the most dominant position he could be in. But man, you know what? I think it was well said by you, Rawrzyyy. 𝗬𝗂𝗏.
Yeah, so early in pick bans, Fryzeit, I mean, that was a pretty difficult decision, in my opinion. Fryzeit was staring down an 𝗬𝗵𝗆 or a 𝗂𝗃, and is running a team with quite a lot of fire that doesn't want to fight waters. So it was the 𝗂𝗃 ban just to get rid of some of the fire for potentially Yggdrasil and 𝗬𝗏𝗆. I love seeing that little butterfly. But yeah, I mean, 𝗬𝗵𝗆 is still going to do quite a lot of damage to a lot of Fryzeit's team.
Yeah, as well as the little water cannons for that hedging Mastion and Drakash. So fantastic ban. Fryzeit recognizing that pressure. And Foolic recognizing or choosing to go for 𝗬𝗂𝗏, just such a heavy hitting special attacker. Does some good neutral attacks into pretty much the entirety of Foolic's squad, with the exception being that 𝗬𝗵𝗆. So let's see. I mean, hey, Fryzeit with the Mastion as well. So 𝗬𝗵𝗆 not the only one bringing that lava shark to the party. Does he want to start things off? It is effective into the Valash. And but I mean, into a 𝗬𝗵𝗆 opener. I think that's what Foolic might be leaning towards. So okay, hey Rawrzyyy, I believe you like the sound of things. 𝗬𝗏𝗆 will be coming out to play, and you know, Rawrzyyy, sadly enough, this is the first 𝗬𝗏𝗆 we've had in this entire day. So let's see how Fryzeit makes it work today.
I mean, 𝗬𝗏𝗆 definitely got a buff, in my opinion, with the refresh technique. I was hoping it would get some kind of priority technique, but it isn't so just yet. I'm still keeping my fingers crossed for Arbory, giving 𝗬𝗏𝗆 a little bit more to work with. But I think that this is a pretty fantastic start. I think against these two Tems, maybe a little bit less so. You know, 𝗬𝗆𝗆 is not terrible against this hedging. And really, Resin Trap isn't bad either against Barnshee, but that, of course, has the one-turn hold.
And alright, does decide to pick up the Drakash as well. So has Mud Showers turn 1 for the hedging. So, you know, that Hypoxia Mud Showers might be chucking the hedging nice and early. Could go for the Generify, but doesn't go for an attack if he does so. So we'll see. I mean, some good counter pick options for Fryzeit. And hey, the 𝗬𝗵𝗆 is such a beautiful Temtem, receiving one of the best buffs in the current patch, or the most recent patch rather. Does get banned out and knocks a lotto. It looks like Foolic not liking that Temtem. And yeah, just overall strong, has some mental pressure for that move flank. And just little toxic inks will get out of hand if they keep going down the road. So not too bad of a bans for both sides. Let's see how Fryzeit wants to conclude this team. And it is for the Mashuk on the 𝗂𝗏𝗆 and just a good old Lava Shark for a little bit of everything else perhaps.
Ooh, and 𝗵𝗵𝗆 to finish things off. I absolutely love some of the things that 𝗵𝗵𝗆 is able to accomplish now. You know, especially if it gets the right Tem at the right time, maybe a little bit of water pressure would go a long way. Or no, I'm sorry, there is no water pressure because 𝗬𝗵𝗆 wasn't picked. I take it all back. Maybe a little bit of earth pressure would go a long way.
Yeah, hedging, swapping into something like Drakash, or 𝗵𝗵𝗆 swapping into hedging will copy the Drakash, but then 𝗵𝗵𝗆's not really on the board to take, or not 𝗵𝗵𝗆, hedging on Fryzeit's side wouldn't be on the board to take advantage of that. So let's see what Foolic has in store. Of course, Barnshee turn 1 options are things like Beta Burst, Hypoxia. Harmful Microwave just doing a good almost 30%, but the Hypoxia, Drakash special defense quite high, but whoa, that is an air specialist. Barnshee bringing that Drakash on death's door. Just one more attack from either bird or the hedging brings it down, but geez, you were so right for the Hypoxia. Wow, 1-2 punch. That is insane. Fryzeit nice and early taking the hedging down.
I absolutely love to see a hand fan 𝗬𝗏𝗆 as well. For so long towards the end of 𝗬𝗏𝗆 meta, it was only Strange Fest 𝗬𝗏𝗆s. And I think someone used Chamomile as well over in BDX. And the hand fan just does so much damage that Hypoxia is so strong. It almost puts it on the same level as an air specialist user.
Yeah, definitely. We saw it do the majority of that damage there. So well done And you know, Foolic doesn't have fire Temtems on his side. 𝗀𝗀𝗀 looking to do so much value for Fryzeit's team. I mean, how do you deal with it if you're Foolic? I mean, the best bet is you copy this 𝗧𝗵𝗃, you copy the Mastion, and then you gun down 𝗀𝗀𝗀. I feel like that's the best way to do it. But if Fryzeit wants to read that, maybe you make it copy something like a 𝗧𝗃 and then 𝗧𝗵𝗃 goes burr one more time. So we will see. This is getting interesting.
Yeah, I mean, there's not too much left for Bob to happily transform into, unfortunately. You kind of mentioned the 𝗧𝗃. You know, Wastewater would be decent. Otherwise, if Foolick's sticking to his own team, it's got to just be 𝗵𝗆, right? With no more hedging, with no more fire. I mean, yeah, energy manipulation. You're just going to have to stamina battle a 𝗀𝗀𝗀, who's got one of the highest base stamina stats in the game.
Yeah, not too bad. So, hey, if you can't take it down nice and slowly, you got to do the stamina game there. So, trapping in the hedging. So, that turn 2 does Vortex. Looking kind of good. But Resin Trap, let's see how much it's going to do on the 𝗵𝗆. Over 50%. So, not too bad. And, of course, Resin Trap does trap it in. But, you know, now this hedging has to pretty much go for a Generify. But if it goes for a Generify, does Vortex plus a 𝗧𝗵𝗃 most likely still take it down, I want to say?
I think that it would be worth... Yeah, I think that it would be worth it for hedging to just go for gold here and do some digital damage onto 𝗵𝗆. Because taking down 𝗵𝗆 means 𝗧𝗃 is absolutely free. And really, also, Foolic being down to only 𝗃𝗵𝗆, 𝗵𝗆, and a 𝗵𝗵𝗃 is a really big advantage for Fryzeit this early on. Another energy manipulation, though, targeting down this 𝗀𝗀𝗀. The Plasma Beam is enough for 𝗵𝗆 to go down. And definitely the DV. I mean, this hedging, if it survives, it's only just barely, but no, 0.0 DV is too strong today. And now 2 Tems down on Foolic's side for only 1 on Fryzeit's. And I think that the Tems that Foolic lost were a little bit too vital to the victory.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that comment there. 𝗧𝗃 looking so good against the 𝗃𝗃. 𝗃𝗃 doesn't have really that much damage. And of course, 𝗵𝗆 just some strong neutral pressure onto both sides. But this 𝗧𝗃 looking really, really good, especially against the 𝗃𝗃. I mean, we still got to be considerate of that Bob, the 𝗵𝗵𝗃 in the back line. Could try to get some spice going, but doesn't really want to copy too many things. As you said earlier, could copy the 𝗧𝗃 for those Wastewaters. But that just makes you very susceptible to those 𝗧𝗵𝗃s from Fryzeit as well. And yeah, we saw with that hand fan, 10% additional damage on those wind techniques. This is a tough spot Foolic is finding himself in. Can he try to maneuver these Tems around? Okay, he will be copying the 𝗧𝗃 indeed.
Yeah, I mean, that's good for next turn, of course. Wow. Goring does so much damage, but 𝗧𝗵𝗃, he read it. He knew what was happening. Fryzeit just takes down this 𝗵𝗵𝗃. And 𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀. 𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 is the hero in my eyes. Nobody will ever change that.
Yeah, I think Fryzeit 100% agrees with that. 𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 doing so much work for Fryzeit. You know, 𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 stayed on the board the entire game. I know we're only in turn 5, but so much has happened. 𝗧𝗵𝗃 turn 1 getting the kill on hedging. Resin Trap bringing the 𝗵𝗆 down into Plasma Beam range. And then one single 𝗧𝗵𝗃 bringing down the blob, the 𝗵𝗵𝗃. So yeah, almost single-handedly being the result of 3 kills there. So Fryzeit, big 𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 fan indeed. And Foolic, final 2 Temtems remaining. Can he try to squeeze something out of here? I think it's going to be a bit too ambitious, however.
Yeah, I mean, this 𝗧𝗃 gets trapped in place, and the exhaustion is good for the future, but base jump as well, it's just not doing very much damage. Parrier sees to that, and now with -1 defense on 𝗃𝗃, an uppercut is probably enough on its own. I mean, it's looking pretty tough. I think right now, Furious the 𝗵𝗆 could absolutely Goring 𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 and take that down, but then there's still so much left in the back. I mean, Mastion has fantastic physical defenses. If 𝗃𝗃, if Snoop Dogg is gone before Mastion hits the field, there's no way that move flank is going to beat Mastion, right?
Oh, all right, we'll see. So Foolic goes for the bush, trying to expect the uppercut. Oh, wow. Okay, 𝗬𝗏 going before anything like a Goring. It looks like he just went for a simple base jump, saving the Goring down the road. But you know, that is so much value the 𝗬𝗏 just got before heading out of here. 50% HP out the window for this move flank. So well done, Fryzeit. Was in the driver's seat a little bit earlier, still in that driver's seat here in the end game in turn number 6. Pure Cash coming out. Bush no longer online, so 𝗵𝗶 guaranteed to connect with this 𝗬𝗏. If 𝗬𝗏 survives, maybe we have an end game on our hands. But if he goes down, I agree with you. The Mastion was going to be a little bit too much for this Furious, the move flank. So well done. Fryzeit playing this very, very well.
Well, I believe we saw previously this 𝗵𝗶 is faster than the normal prio on 𝗬𝗏. So even if 𝗬𝗏 does survive this turn, I think a second uppercut the following turn would bring it down before a DV is able to hit Mastion. So I think that this is already over for Fryzeit. I think that as soon as 𝗵𝗵 was taken down by that incredible Hypoxia read, that was pretty much GG's. I think that Fryzeit just had a fantastic understanding of what Foolic was doing, really good reads and a lot of control throughout the entire game during a meta where control is kind of on the down now.
Yeah, we'll see. And hey, Snoop Dogg making that uppercut even easier with that overexertion. So yeah, 𝗵𝗶 and Mastion classic. Oh, but wait a second. Does he get the kill? He does. Okay, okay. This is a little bit closer than Fryzeit wanted it to do. But we're talking about just a single lava wave, a single embers will bring this move flank down. So hey, very ferocious, very, very well played to Foolic as well. But Mastion, just a bit too healthy. He hasn't even got one scratch on him. Now make that one scratch on him. But Furious, the move flank, going down at the hands of that lava shark. So GG, Fryzeit and that 𝗬𝗏 will be winning it. And man, Fryzeit's team looking strong. I wonder who's going to be taking him down.
Yeah, nobody can fight the 𝗬𝗏. That's... Yeah.
Or 𝗬𝗏. Oh, 𝗬𝗏, you should have said Feynman versus 𝗧𝗵𝗵. I mean, this looks like it's a good game too. We got a 𝗬𝗏 for the first time ever. And we have a 𝗬𝗵𝗶. However, one more tick of doom is going to be going down. So maybe Reaper. Wow. If Reaper manages to take down Soliloquy, that is a big, big victory for Reaper.
Yeah, absolutely. Soliloquy is terrifying to play against sometimes. And really, this Reaper Psycho's team almost looks like it would have the disadvantage in the early game with, you know, a couple of water Tems and a Volcrane on Reaper Psycho's side. Definitely a weakness to be had. But I mean, either way, Reaper Psycho doing a great job. The Doom on the 𝗬𝗏 is definitely counting down, is definitely terrifying. And a nice double swamp for Reaper into this water cutting Lily overexertion. 𝗶𝗶 just trying to make it happen at the very end, and it is enough to bring 𝗬𝗏 down from its very, very low HP state. That actually means there's no more revitalizes available for Reaper Psycho. So this 𝗂𝗄𝗄, we saw him previously just revitalize over and over, get this 𝗂𝗄𝗄 back to a point where it can win the game. That's not going to happen this time. It's going to be dependent on Volcrane and Tortnite. Tortnite is able to heal a little bit with the Garden, but I mean, probably not as much as Reaper Psycho would have otherwise liked.
Yeah, not too bad. So Bowser, I mean, 𝗬𝗏 goes down in 2 turns, but I think that's going to be more than enough for Soliloquy to squeeze out this victory here. I mean, with the Fire Quiz in the back, saved specifically for that Volcrane, 1 water cannon will be more than enough to bring it all the way down. And these Temtems, even though they're kind of buffed up, +2 defense, +4 defense, they're not really enough to do against the 100% HP Temtems that Soliloquy currently has on his board. So we will see. I mean, 𝗬𝗏 with a Savage Suplex most likely onto Bowser the Tortonite. And I believe Heartbleed. Oh, wait a second. Whoa, Sacker. Wait. What?
Oh. Oh, that is incredible.
What?
Oh my
Seppuku,
god.
what?
He sacrificing onto Tortonite in fact dooms the Tortonite, which means this garden, it's not going to do anything. It's a slight heal, but that's all, and you're doomed. It doesn't matter anymore. This clinch is going to be enough to bring down 𝗂𝗀𝗄𝗃, and that means it is 𝗂𝗏𝗏𝗏 versus 𝗂𝗀𝗃 and Soliloquy with an incredible victory.
Man, incredible indeed. 𝗂𝗏𝗏𝗏 forced out here. Fire 𝗂𝗀𝗃 forced out here one more time, and we said it is basically just a 1v1. 𝗂𝗏𝗏𝗏 only able to do some earth and fire techniques, so 1000% Soliloquy with a normal water cannon will take it down. But wait a second, I thought Lotto's trait had to overexert yourself for the doom. Is it just when you sacrifice yourself, aka you just kill yourself?
Yeah, I mean, that was something that Suki did confirm, that is working as intended. So the sacrifice is supposed to cause that doom, and doom indeed is now. Both of these Tems are falling down. I definitely did not expect something like that to come through. I thought that 𝗂𝗀𝗃 was going to have a lot more work to do. But no, Oshi-Dashi water cannons enough to bring down 𝗂𝗏𝗏𝗏, and Doom brings down Tortonite and Yowler. And it's just one more already doomed Tem left standing at the end of the turn.
And man, so much Doom shenanigans there in that closing marks of that Soliloquy versus Reaper Psycho matchup. So Soliloquy not going down, that beautiful 𝗵𝗵𝗶𝗏 and the Lotto tech play not liking. And let's see who's going to be squeezing into the top 8 cut. It looks like the pick and ban's already at the tail end. And hey, that is that beautiful 𝗧𝗵𝗵 coming in and pairing up with a little 𝗧𝗵𝗺𝗃. So, oh, this is quite the interesting team. We haven't seen a team quite like Shiba Mata's team. And hey, Trotter looking oddly familiar to someone by the name of Senor Platt, perhaps.
I think that Shiba Mata might have the counters here, though. He's with double electric. I mean, at least 𝗬𝗶𝗃 is not traditionally one of the really strong electric Tems, but if it sparks itself up a few times, it'll definitely do the damage, and everybody on Trotter's side is weak to electric.
Yeah, quite literally, you're so right. I mean, if this core is just iridescent, maybe just half. But yeah, if a synergy master like that synergy water bonus that it has on turn 1, then yeah, everything would be effective from that electric attack, as you said. So 𝗧𝗵𝗺𝗏 loving the sound of that, a Thunderstrike Electric Storm available on his kit. And only, I believe, the 𝗬𝗂𝗶𝗃 being able to do some effective damage. So 𝗧𝗵𝗺𝗏 low-key might be an MVP, but let's see. I mean, 𝗬𝗶10 coming in with a little Kinu buff. Yeah, I think right now the only electric attack it would have would be like a simple Tesla Prison. But I'm almost scared a double up from the Synergy Master WCL plus a water cannon. That surely does at least 60-70% on that 𝗧𝗵𝗵𝗏.
Yeah, I mean, 𝗬𝗶 doesn't want to take this hit, and unfortunately, there's not really anyone else that wants to. So this might actually just be the turn where 𝗧𝗵𝗺 comes in for Kinu and gets the sparks.
Ooh, that would be huge. As you mentioned earlier, nothing really resists that electric technique. So a sparks on 𝗧𝗵𝗺𝗏, if that's a half full one as well, going up even more on that special attack. So you know what? If that is the sparks, I think 𝗧𝗵𝗺𝗏 looking to just straight up one-shot a lot of Trotter's Temtems. So Trotter has to be careful if he expects that coming. Maybe you send the water cannon onto that side, but no, Kinu stayed in. So 𝗬𝗶, let's see how much damage he's going to be able to resist.
Oh yeah, that water cutting lily does so much, followed up by the water cannon. Oh, 5.9%. Sparks indeed, but it was the last Tem to oh no. the sparks went last. It was after Auron with the normal prio. It was after 𝗂𝗀𝗃 with the 3 prio. But that means that this 𝗬𝗶's not going to be able to attack this turn.
Yeah, that is right. As you mentioned, it was the last time to go. However, you know, it's chilling at 16. If it goes ahead and hits the back line, that is 60% recovering, going back up to 76%. So not too far out of it. However, he has to find a good swap to eat this double up. And if you look on the back line, there's literally no good swap. Volash is going to take huge damage from that double up. 𝗧𝗵𝗺𝗏 decent damage from that water cannon. And then Naga, as we know, a war drum with that water synergized WCL cannot resist. So all right, 𝗶𝗵10 does swap out, but who is it gonna be? Okay, 𝗧𝗵𝗵𝗶 it is. Let's see how much it's gonna be able to hold on.
Yeah, I mean, 𝗧𝗵𝗵𝗶's kind of scary here a little bit. You don't want it to take unnecessary damage. It's not half full, so it's not starting at that 50% disadvantage. So that's very nice, but Water Cutting Lily with the overexertion plus the water cannon. Oh no, water cannon's on the Naga. This is water custodian.
Wow.
So 𝗧𝗵𝗵𝗶 feeling nice and healthy in the grand scheme of things, is now there's no more effective damage that can come down to this spot. We'd only be looking at Blizzard or water cannon. Or no, I'm sorry, not water cannon, Water Cutting Lily. And really, I mean, 𝗂𝗍 just overexerted. It's got to go. 𝗧𝗵𝗵𝗶's looking so good now.
Oh, it is a free Thunder Strike / Electric Storm. And, you know, almost a free Madness buff as well, as we saw the water techniques only doing under 20%. So Shiba Mata with that spice. Everyone and their mother thinking the Sea Aura is the wave to go. However, Shiba Mata, I believe he is from Japan. Correct me if I'm wrong. But thinking another way, electing to bring out the water custodian. So Trotter trying to eat some damage with this 𝗧𝗵𝗺𝗃. And okay, no madness buff, just trying to gun down that right spot. Let's see if he's going to get a kill. I don't think it's just yet. Might have to do one more attack to do so.
Yeah, I mean, the Thunder Strike, it's definitely a strong technique, but 𝗧𝗵𝗺𝗃 definitely has a lot of special defense. So it with the double screen involved, it's still above 50%, which means that this this Naga is going to have to go for a beta burst if it wants to have any chance of killing 𝗧𝗵𝗺𝗃 this turn. And that would mean a sacrificial Naga, as absolutely a Toxic Ink and Water Cutting Lily would be enough to bring it down.
Yeah, absolutely. It could become a 𝗬𝗎, eat the Water Cutting Lily very well, and then Toxic Ink, just some good pressure on 𝗬𝗎, probably over 50% of that remaining HP, but the Lifeful Sap could do a wave to bring it back down. So as you said, Nagas didn't want anything so juicy. 𝗵𝗟𝗡, I believe that was the 𝗬𝗎 name, will be buffing up this. Man, but how did that Thunder Strike do so little onto the 𝗧𝗵𝗺𝗃s? I know, as you mentioned, a lot of special defense. It does have 10% mitigation from that double screen, but I definitely expected a little bit more damage from the 𝗧𝗵𝗺𝗃.
So it's definitely possible that Shiba Mata is using the 𝗧𝗵𝗺𝗃, you know, it's on a Sparks team. It could potentially not have very much special attack investment and could instead be a little bit more on the bulky side, maybe even have a little bit of speed investment, and really just depend on a little bit of plus special attack in order to deal the damage. If there wasn't any investment whatsoever, I think it still would have done more, though. I mean, that really wasn't very much damage at all.
Yeah, it was.
𝗧𝗵𝗺𝗃 did that surprisingly well.
Yeah, impressively well for that double damage. It was confusing. It almost looked like it did half damage. But yeah, maybe it's just 𝗧𝗵𝗺𝗃's a little bit tanky in that special defense. Maybe even TVs on that special defense. And yeah, perhaps little to no special attack investment on this 𝗧𝗵𝗺𝗃. So we'll see what Shiba Mata has in hand. Let's see. It could just be a bulked up 𝗧𝗵𝗺𝗃s, perhaps just a pivot swap on things like that. But all right, big boy Vlash. We'll see one Temtem that could put a damper onto 𝗧𝗵𝗺𝗃's HP. Oh, the Doom.
Ooh. I mean, there's definitely ways to get around this. 𝗬𝗎 likely is running Sacrifice, so that's surviving for a little while. But 𝗧𝗵𝗺𝗃's gonna have to bring down this Cycrox in the meantime, or else more Doom will just be on the way.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm trying to think about that 𝗶𝗵10 as well. It could swap in here and get Bush. However, Lifeful Sap is the same ticking timer as that Doom. So by the time the Lifeful Sap goes off and able to Bush one time, the Doom will already have done the deed. So yeah, I think the only way to remove this Doom might be a 𝗬𝗎 sacrifice, unless 𝗬𝗎𝗃 from all right, well, hey, no 𝗬𝗎 on this turn. So Crystal Bite defense going all the way down, very impressive. And let's see if it was the 𝗧𝗵𝗺𝗃s or was it the 𝗧𝗵𝗺𝗃. Oh, it was definitely the 𝗧𝗵𝗺𝗃.
I'm thinking too that 𝗬𝗶𝗶 is a target replicator, right? Not a source replicator, because Kinu used Lifeful Sap on turn 1 and it duplicated onto 𝗬𝗶𝗶. So a bush or a burrow wouldn't have the same impact. So that wouldn't be a way to save the 𝗧𝗵𝗺. I think that it really would have just been sacrifice Kinu. And if Shiba Mata is not running sacrifice, then I definitely understand. Just go for the damage, do what you can do, make the best of a not so great situation. At the very least, 𝗧𝗵𝗺 can Thunderstrike again this turn, knowing that the overexertion doesn't matter. You know, 𝗏𝗡 is still around, so if Shiba Mata is able to do enough damage fast enough and force the Naga in versus 𝗏𝗡, that would still be a decent situation. Kinu comes on in. The Protector buff is a little bit null and void, as it doesn't accomplish anything anymore. And 𝗂𝗀𝗆 coming in as well, just to protect the Cycrox a little bit more in case the Thunderstrike was targeting that spot.
Oh, of course, the burrow and the overexhaustion tick from the Thunderstrike the previous play removed the Doom. So Shiba Mata saving the 𝗧𝗵𝗺 for down the road. Very impressive, of course. How can we forget? Thunderstrike into burrow. Beautiful stuff. So the Kinu buff even looking better. The 𝗧𝗵𝗺 doesn't dish out the pressure, but effective damage over effective damage will start to add up. So nice stuff. Shiba Mata not going down so easily. Trotter has to think twice now, and I'm trying to think. He water cannon the 𝗏𝗡 spot, so I'm not predicting the Kinu coming in there. Alright, so not too bad.
Yeah, I mean, potentially just Trotter predicting a little bit more aggro here, but Cycrox coming back in, gonna try it all again. Although, I mean, as we just saw, 𝗧𝗵𝗺...
Drill 𝗬𝗏𝗃𝗏?
Oh, I love the drill 𝗬𝗏𝗃 spec. That's been going around a little bit more. It's so scary. But yeah, I mean, 𝗧𝗵𝗺 is able to knock off the Doom whenever it wants now. Of course, it probably doesn't survive an Aquatic Whirlwind this turn, but it can always come back in later on when 𝗬𝗏𝗃 is not a threat and be okay.
That is so crazy. I've never seen a drill 𝗬𝗏𝗃, the sharp brain connecting on the 𝗧𝗵𝗺. So as you said, Aquatic Whirlwind may be a little bit too much of a handful for 𝗧𝗵𝗺 to hold. So trying to come out, swapping out to potentially the Nagais. As man, I think that Thunderstrike might be necessary for the Nagais. I mean, 𝗏𝗡 with those crystal bites could do a big number on the Nagais too, so not 100% necessary. It would just make it a little bit easier. But let's see, Nagais coming in instead. Oh, the water, of course.
Yeah, there is the synergy, so it's going to get the toxic ticks going, but I don't think that he minds one bit. The Data Burst not doing very much damage at all, and a Thunderstrike that looked like an overexertion. Only a little bit of damage done to this Cycrox. And it's an overexertion plus exhaustion in the future. So now 𝗧𝗵𝗺's gotta go or die. There's no other options. And I mean, realistically, Naga's not too happy here either. Cycrox is a really slow Tem, and it does have one prio digital. That could be pretty scary for this Naga if it wants to stay in.
Yeah, well, remember, his water custodian, so the Sea Aura 1 prio not applying here, so Naga could just get off a normal attack. Something like a beta burst might still be enough for this Cycrox. Hey, Rawrzyyy. Thank you so much, Rawrzyyy.
But it just popped up.
Yeah, thank you. All right, guys. So, hey, the Kinu buff coming in onto Nagais, trying to protect himself from a digital threat. But Aquatic Whirlwind healing up the Cycrox. That is some interesting tech there.
Yeah, wow. This is pretty incredible.
Yeah, so we do get the Hypno onto the Cycrox there, but man, it was looking kind of low, but with that Aquatic Whirlwind connecting on it. So hey, spending the Aquatic Whirlwind, but you did get so much of a handful of healing, so not too bad. This one is looking kind of long here. I don't think this is going to be ending anytime soon. Both players playing super carefully and doing some interesting stuff we don't really see all the time. So really cool matchup to witness. Well, let's see what's going down here in turn 11, however. So 𝗬𝗏𝗃 having to maybe hit the back line, as it is going to be overexerting here. If it stays in, I mean, could just stay in and rest. but maybe getting that fire or the nature water Koish online might feel a little bit better, perhaps, just to really pressure out this Naga's next turn.
Yeah, that's where I'm leaning as well. I think that nature Koish is definitely the win con for Trotter at the moment. It just does so much damage to everybody remaining. I mean, 𝗧𝗵𝗺's fire is really the best way. I mean, other than a little bit of electric, but you know, 𝗧𝗵𝗺's the best way to fight this fight, and with such low HP, it's just not able to do it. A couple of swaps coming in though, 𝗬𝗶 for the Naga, and Naga coming in for Trotter. Revitalizes well onto this 𝗬𝗶, so it took all that damage early on, and now it's all the way back to 100%.
Yeah, nice to see. And hey, as we said earlier, 𝗬𝗶10 has at least electric technique, so that is 4x effective damage on this Nagais, and it's gonna be effective into everything in the back line. So can this 𝗬𝗶 do the deed for Shiba Mata? I mean, it doesn't usually pack a punch unless you make it pack a punch. Max special attack anyone? I don't think so, but we will see. We haven't seen it attack just yet.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely, it is +1, and it does get some somewhat decent techniques. I mean, Tesla Prison, not the best on damage, but minus speed is very nice. And Electric Storm, of course, is enough for a Naga, but no, Hypnosis first. 𝗬𝗶 taking a bit of a nap, and Digi-Threat once more, just trying to doom this 𝗧𝗵𝗺. I mean, it's just barely holding on. If you're trying to doom when it's got 1% HP, what are you doing, Trotter? Just kill it.
Oh, hey, easier said than done. Of course, if the neurotoxins would have just done the toxic tick instead of the doom, 𝗧𝗵𝗺 will be out of here in that very turn. But yeah, Trotter locking the neurotoxins trade. And it is good. I mean, Doom, as we saw Reaper Psycho earlier, does do the job, but Doom sometimes feels one turn too slow. If it was like one turn less, I could see it being slightly more viable, but Doom is still good. I mean, a guaranteed kill does always feel bad. But wait a second, it's not Doom. That's mental ally. That's a mental ally doing that. So yeah, that was a water because of the heal from 𝗂𝗏. Yeah, did you throw it with the mental dooms it, of course.
Yeah, it's using some synergy, and the strangle onto 𝗬𝗶 that protects Naga for another turn and means Trotter can just do free damage onto this Kinu.
Yeah, we saw the Digi-Threat go off previously, so able to go off one more time, except with Strangle. It does have to wait one more turn, so it's just Naga versus this Kinu. So big O Mental Temtem versus the little O Mental Temtem. But even pressure in terms of just neutral mental onto both sides.
It's neutral pressure, but Naga definitely hits a little bit harder even without the madness buff. Shiba Mata, okay, swapping out the 𝗬𝗶. I was almost expecting another Lifeful Sap just to try and keep 𝗬𝗶 healthy. Oh, but yeah, I guess Kinu does have one more turn of it, so that wouldn't be as successful. The energy manipulation onto Kinu, that is so much stamina cost for a beta burst. What? That was an incredible amount. But, I mean, now this Cycrox is still looking really good. There's no exact, there's no effective damage that can be dealt from Shiba Mata at the moment, and Doom is available again, or just a wastewater onto this Naga.
Yeah, well said. I mean, just good effective damage all around from Trotter's side. So Naga is coming back in. So maybe it's going to be a Kinu Lifeful Sap one more time for the target replicator. So energy manipulation, trying to overexert this Kinu. But Lifeful Sap kind of lower. But oh, geez. I think that might have been an overexertion either way. It was.
And Wastewater hitting this 𝗬𝗶, it's not going to do very much damage, and thanks to not being neurotoxins, that means 𝗬𝗶 isn't sacrificed to the demons just yet. You know, we don't know for sure if this Kinu is sacrificed. We didn't see it earlier as 𝗧𝗵𝗺 was able to heal itself. But I don't know if 𝗬𝗶 would be able to do the same. I'm not entirely sure. It doesn't look like anything would work other than, you know, potentially a Lifeful Sap, which is already here. And an energy manipulation from Shiba Mata's Naga.
Yeah, we will indeed see. I mean, we haven't seen 𝗬𝗶10 any offensive pressure. No Tesla, no plasma beams, no nothing. So I don't know. We don't know for sure if it has anything in its toolkit. I would imagine at least one offense So let's see. Qiinu did overexert, bringing in the Vlash to get that Crystal Bite back online. And it's a bush. All right. So just adds the one Bamboozle as he already had the Lifeful Sap ticks.
The Bamboozle was definitely nice, though Digi-Threat onto Vlash is a little bit less nice on the side of Shiba Mata, but very nice for Trotter.
Yeah, not too bad. I don't believe the Cycrocs overexerted. That looked to be perfect stamina. However, the Nagas did overexert. So that might be a heavy Crystal Bite heading into that Naga's direction. And Trotter can't do too much about it. Let's go ahead and see who he wants to eat this Crystal Bite with. It might be a double up from both of Shiba Mata's Temtems. So let's see. Oh, of course, gunning down the harder to take down Tem. And there's the offensive pressure. Electric Storm.
Wow.
Whoa.
Yeah, that was a scary amount of damage dealt. I did not think 𝗂𝗍 was going to take that much. It was neutral damage. But I guess the +1 sparks. If there's some special attack investment there, 𝗬𝗶𝗆's looking pretty good. But so far, that's the only offensive attack we've seen, and it does have a hold. So if that is the only offensive attack 𝗬𝗶𝗆 has, maybe this is just another sparks turn, so it can do more damage in the future. It definitely, I mean, it doesn't have too much else that it feels great with right now.
Yeah, but I mean, at this point with that Sparks and +2/+2 defense, special defense, 0B is definitely the win condition for Shiba Mata. So you got to protect it. So maybe swap out now. Don't take a lot of damage. Just sacrifice one of your Temtems. Maybe just Qiinu buff on this Vlash. But I know it's going down this turn. So that kind of feels a bit lackluster. So maybe that's not too ideal. However, that E-Storm is going to be effective damage to the entirety of Trotter's remaining team. So Shiba Mata looking very, very strong in this round number 6. How can Trotter try to bring things around if it's another Sparks? You know, speaking of the Sparks, that turn 1 Sparks where OB went all the way to like 5-10%, and we're like, wait a second, he just Sparks at 10%, making a big difference here all the way in the end game.
Yeah, absolutely. Just the early sparks. This is something Shiba Mata knew was going to happen. Just take advantage of a Lifeful Sap, go into the back, and come back later to sweep. The Naga coming through is, I guess it makes sense with this 𝗬𝗏 definitely being a little bit scarier than the 𝗂𝗍 and Water Custodian, meaning that this 𝗬𝗶𝗆 doesn't have to worry about taking that sharp rain damage. So now Electric Storm's available again, but Digi-Threat first. That's enough to bring down the 𝗂𝗍 as long as, 𝗬𝗶𝗆 does overexert, but it does have Electric Storm available again. And both of these Tems are probably going down to a single Electric Storm. I mean, Naga absolutely. After the amount of damage we saw that 𝗬𝗶𝗆 do previously, I think 𝗬𝗏 is pretty close as well.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think at this point, yeah, exactly what Shiba Mata is doing. You save the OB for the back line and just wait. Just let these guys spend some stamina. Qiinu, not the most ideal target, but you gotta save OB. He is your win condition, as you said. Energy Storm or E-Storm is online, but hey, a little 𝗍𝗵𝗶 as this. Actually, wait a second. Trotter also not with the Deceit Aura one. That is interesting.
Here you go, assuming things and nothing like it at all. But the Blizzard going last with 2 Nagas on the field, I guess that makes sense. But man, not for the reasons we would have expected. 𝗬𝗶𝗆 comes back in. We know he's not very speedy. And now with Naga gone, no more Water Custodian, that means that an Aquatic Whirlwind is hitting 𝗬𝗶𝗆. It really comes down to this Beta Burst Electric Storm. 𝗬𝗶𝗆 has to survive long enough to E-Storm, or else Trotter's just going to walk away with it because of 𝗬𝗏.
Yeah, well said. And man, he didn't really recover that much stamina. That was only a single turn. He has to overexert for this E-Storm. As you said, of course it does kill the Nagas, but the 𝗬𝗏 is the heavier hitter into that 𝗬𝗶𝗆. So, I mean, if it kills the 𝗬𝗏, of course, that is a GG. But if 𝗬𝗏 survives something like Water Cannon into Aquatic Whirlwind, but you know, 𝗬𝗏 should take enough damage from the E-Storm that Qiinu could just start beta bursting it down. So I think Shiba Mata is still looking very well over here in round number 10. So yeah, I think Shiba might get this here.
Yeah, it all comes down to the speed, in my opinion. We saw very early on that turn 1 Sparks went, I think, after both the 𝗂𝗍 and the 𝗬𝗏. So we know that Orion is faster than 𝗬𝗶𝗆. It all comes down to the Naga. If 𝗬𝗶𝗃 is able to go first or survive, then Shiba Mata wins. But if 𝗬𝗶𝗃 goes down without an E-Storm, there's no way for this Kinu to pull through.
Yeah, and of course, there's no madness buff on Nagas. There's no extra buffs on 𝗬𝗂𝗏, and 0B has +2 special defense. So I'm willing to bet 𝗬𝗶10 is going to survive to get off the wonderful E-Storm for Shiba Mata's side. Let's see. I mean, Trotter thinking in that reserve time tank, trying to find a way. What is the line of play for Trotter? All right, deploying the Aquatic Whirlwind, 85%.
Oh,
Ooh.
down to 35 with a Fury.
Wait a second.
This might be enough. 𝗬𝗶𝗃 35.3
Oh!
to 1% HP, surviving for the Electric Storm, bringing Naga to its knees. And 𝗬𝗂𝗏 down to 2.5% for Kinu to beta burst and win the match for Shiba Mata. No revival.
Oh.
Either way, I mean, that's a GG. That is incredible. 1 HP surviving, and now Kinu, so much HP, the Sharp Rain doesn't even matter, and 𝗬𝗂𝗏 just going out on his own terms with an overexertion.
That is right, man. That was almost one of the best games we caught in the Swiss round. So close. Trotter, if you would have taken down the 0B, that would have been a great match. I believe it could have gone his way.